Well, hey everybody. Today we're switching gears a little bit and actually going to work on a little bit of writing. Um, we focused an awful lot on reading and context clues so far, but I'd like to have our first writing prompt, and I want to give you some good guidance before we get into that. So I'm actually going to model how to go about this specific writing prompt, but I hope that you can do something similar with all your writing prompts this entire school year. So the question: describe one of your family members or loved ones, or excuse me, or a loved one. And one of the keys is that we need to make sure that we are going through all the stages of the writing process. Everything from gathering your thoughts and organizing your things, your thoughts in pre-writing, and as well as writing the actual paragraph, and then going back and doing some editing. So your worksheet, because it's virtual, is going to look a little bit different than this. If we were in class in person, I would have you fill out this worksheet right here that would look exactly like this. And that's how we would do this. Because you're not in here and you are virtual, I actually made a similar document similar to this. Doesn't look exactly the same, but very similar, and that's what you'll use. But this is what I'm going to use because it's easiest to write on. So here we go. All right, that's a little large. That's even larger. Oh, that's probably decent. Okay, so describe one of your family members or loved ones. One of the things I'd like you to do first is pick who you're going to talk about. And for me, I'm going to talk about my oldest daughter, Jules. So my daughter, Jules. Notice that's my first line, and that's written up top. And that's what I'm going to make my topic sentence about. Remember, your topic sentence is what the whole rest of your paragraph is going to be about. And because I'm just organizing my writing right now, I just wrote my daughter Jules. So that's who I'm going to be talking about in my paragraph. All these little stars down here, or little bullets if you want to call them that, are going to be the information explaining my daughter Jules. Okay, so I'm going to fill those in just to get some of my ideas. I may not use all of these ideas, but at least I'm going to get them down on paper and then organize them when I actually start to write. So my daughter is 5 years old. Okay, she is going to be starting kindergarten next week, actually. So kindergarten. Very funny / good personality. Running out of room. So personality. Okay, so those are a couple characteristics of her. She's blonde hair. Notice I'm not putting a ton of thought in right this second. I'm just kind of getting all my ideas about my daughter, the topic of our paragraph, which is my daughter, just getting them down on paper. Scared. My daughter is scared of everything. She is like the nicest, sweetest little girl, but holy smoke, she's scared of everything. And I can elaborate on that in my paragraph, but at least so I know when I'm thinking about what to write that I can mention something about her being scared. Great imagination. Okay. And seems to be kind of tall. So I'm going to put that, right? So that's pretty good. I have 7 different things, and I don't know if I'm going to add all of them. I might, but I got my ideas down on paper about my daughter, Jules. Okay, so I want you to do the same. If you want to, if you want to talk about a family member, you can. If you don't want to talk about a family member, a loved one. It could be a really good friend of yours. Just one of the things I want to get across to you, I'm not so much worried about who you pick. I'm worried about the organization and quality of your paragraphs. You pick whoever floats your boat, but that's what I'd like you to do. So now I'm going to scroll down to my write your paragraph, which you will type once you get to that portion, but I'm going to now write my paragraph. And I'm going to be bouncing back and forth like this a little bit to look at my stuff. But my first sentence, my topic sentence, needs to be stating what the whole rest of the paragraph is going to be about. One of the mistakes a lot of students make is they start explaining their topic in their first sentence. And that's not really what you want to do. In a topic sentence, you just want to state what you're going to be talking about. And then the 4, 5, 6, 7 sentences that follow describe your topic sentence. You're not going to get into the details right away in your first sentence. So just remember that. So what I mean by that is I am just going to state that I'm going to be discussing my daughter Jules. I'm not going to start talking about her being 5 years old. I'm not going to talk about her being in kindergarten or funny or scared or any of those other things in my first sentence. That is, those bullets there are going to come at the earliest in your second sentence. So here we go. Let me scroll up, and I'm going to write my oldest daughter's name is Jules. Okay? Another thing, notice this space I left right here. I indented and I capitalized my first letter. You're going to do that with all of your sentences. Notice I didn't start describing Jules at all. All it says is my oldest daughter's name is Jules. Now everybody who reads this will know the rest of the paragraph is going to be probably him describing his daughter. Okay, so my oldest daughter's name is Jules. Okay? First, Jules is 5 years old and starting kindergarten soon. Okay? Next, comma. So there's a little pause there. Next. Now, I kind of forgot what else I wrote. So let me scroll back up and take a look. So I already discussed her being 5 years old, her being in kindergarten. Maybe now I'm going to talk about what she looks like. So let's do blonde hair, and she's tall. That's what I'm going to do for my next couple of things. Remember, you don't have to write your paragraph in the same order as how you listed them. So next, she is blonde hair and rather tall for her age. Right, I'm starting to run out of room a little bit, so I'm going to scroll up. I just finished that sentence, so let me go back up and look at what else I have. So I talked about blonde hair and being tall. Next, I think maybe I'll talk about her, being funny, good personality, and maybe even a good imagination. So let's do also as a fantastic imagination and a great, gotta scroll up a little bit here, I'm sorry, a great personality she always makes me laugh. Exclamation point. She always makes me laugh. Okay. Almost done, friends. Let me go up. So we talked about this and this. And I'm going to finish up by talking about her being kind of scared. Okay, so this is going to be my last thought. So I'm actually going to end this by saying, finally, Jules is kind of scared of everything. Right? So because I want to add a little bit more detail, like I said here, finally, Jules is kind of scared of everything. I'm sure my reader might want to hear an example. So how about I do this? For example, she was so scared at the beginning of the summer, she wouldn't go outside because she feared being stung by a bee. True story. Okay, so there you go. I don't know how many sentences that ended up being. Maybe it was 6, 5, something like that. But I feel like this is a pretty good. I am only asking you to write one paragraph, and I feel like for one paragraph, I describe my daughter pretty well. Okay, couple things I want to point out. So after you write this, I'm going to flip to the next slide. I would like you to make sure you go back and edit for any mistakes. Let me show you what you should be looking for. First off, did I have a topic sentence? Yes. Yes, I did a topic sentence because I mentioned that this paragraph is going to be about my daughter. I know I have plenty of details. I think I wrote, 6 sentences, let's say, so I feel pretty good about that. Let's go down to the editing portion, which is more what I'd like you to see. After you write your paragraph, here's what I want you to do. Go back and double check capital letters. Did I capitalize the beginning of sentences? Did I capitalize names of people? If Jules is lowercase, that's incorrect. It's because that's a name. It should be capitalized. So you're going to want to check this. You're going to want to check punctuation. Okay, so did you use commas and periods and exclamations and question marks appropriately? How about your word choice? Could you go back through and add any words that maybe would make your paragraph sound a little better? Maybe add in some grade level vocab that we learned over the course of this school year rather than using basic words. Was there anything that was spelled incorrectly? And the beauty of what you have on typing these on your laptops is that if your word's spelled wrong, it's probably going to underline it for you. And if you go online and search that word or that misspelling, a lot of times it will give you the proper spelling. Or you can do that, or you can do just spell check, but checking for spelling. And then finally, just that it makes sense. right? So go back and read your passage, which I'm going to do really quickly. My oldest daughter's name is Jules. First, Jules is 5 years old and starting kindergarten soon. Next, she has blonde hair. That's actually wrong. It should be she is blonde haired with an ED. Okay? So I'm going to make sure I go back and change that. And rather tall for her age. Also, Jules has a fantastic imagination and a great personality. She always makes me laugh. Finally, Jules is kind of scared of everything. For example, she was so scared at the beginning of the summer she wouldn't go outside out of fear of being stung by a bee. Okay, so I made one correction that I noticed. It seems to be capitalized appropriately. Punctuation's good. I like my word usage. One more thing to note. I did not begin every sentence with Jules is this and Jules is that. Jules, Jules, Jules. You want to switch up the beginnings of every sentence so it's not always Jules, 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 or whatever person's name you are talking about. A good way to do that is throw these transition words in there. My first explanation of Jules, I added the word first. Okay. My next sentence, I put also, signifying to my reader that I'm changing my thought and I'm going to tell you about something else. Later in the paragraph, I use the word she rather than using Jules. And then my last thought about her being scared, I used the transition word finally. Okay, so vary your sentence beginnings. I know I didn't put that in your checklist, but I think that's really important. So just keep that in mind when you're writing your paragraphs. I hope this didn't get too lengthy, but I wanted to just really be nice and detailed about our first writing prompt. So if you have questions, please let me know. Thank you.